Hi, everyone. We're going to get started. Welcome to Designer Secrets Room by Room. The designers here on our panel are extremely talented, so I'm very excited to get started. Please silence your phones, and if you could save your questions for the end, if time allows, we're going to do a Q&A. Our moderator today is Michelle Pergeau-Dudgeon, and she has worked over 20 years at Oakland Community College, where she teaches and directs the Interior Design Associates in Applied Science degree program. Her career began in the residential market with a focus on lighting design. She has also served in showroom management and obtained her lighting specialist certificate from the American Lighting Association. She strives to expose her students to both local and international opportunities of travel and collaborative learning across borders. Her passion for historical preservation recently led to her becoming a board member for the SOS Vermilion Group, working to restore an original 1870s life-saving station on Lake Superior.
Good morning, everyone. Morning. First, I'd like to welcome and thank you for being here and joining us at the Michigan Design Center for this event. I'll be acting as your moderator today. The positive impact that the profession of interior design can have on our daily lives is very powerful. I cannot wait to hear from our panelists today about their fresh ideas and effective solutions for helping clients create their dream spaces. So without further ado, here's our panel. Our first designer is Jennifer Asmar. Principal designer and owner Jennifer Asmar is known for her refreshing and personable approach to interior design, which has been described as timeless style with a twist of the unexpected. Jennifer has over 20 years of experience working with some of the most sought-after luxury interior design firms in Southeast Michigan before launching Asmar Interiors in 2011. Next, we have Sherry Tattrie. Sherry Tattrie Interiors is an offshoot of Bellissima, the home store Sherry owned, which was located in downtown Rochester for close to 10 years. Sherry has an extensive design background and has worked on projects in California, Denver, Florida, and just outside of Washington, D.C. Currently located in Birmingham, she welcomes involvement in out-of-state projects, in addition to local new home construction or renovation work. Next, we have Amy Miller Weinstein. She is the owner of AMW Design Studio. She has a passion for creating beautifully appointed homes that are comfortable and livable and timelessly stylish. Amy's professional career spans 4 decades, and she believes her years of experience enable her to provide wisdom and intuitive expertise for anyone seeking design services. Last but not least, we have Dawn Jacobs. She's the owner of Artichoke's Interiors. The design goal for her is to create striking, personal spaces for her clients that are a reflection of themselves and the things that they love. She often incorporates customers' personal collections in a fresh new way. While trends come and go, good design remains constant and is worth investing in. It should be inspiring, beautiful, and timeless. Dawn's work has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Detroit Design Magazine, Detroit News Homestyle, the Oakland Press, and had the cover story for Detroit Home Magazine. She has also participated in designer home tours and personal home tours that benefited local charities. Now that you've met our panelists, let's move to our questions so that our designers can share their ideas and expertise with us. So I'll open with our first question, which is, in your experience, what room or space of the house do clients need the most help with? Jennifer?
Usually, in my experience, the kitchen needs the most planning. So typically, in most cases, it takes the longest to go through, figure out, kind of plan, because it is the heart of the home. It's what, you know, the room we use the most. So everybody wants to make sure they get it just right.
I agree with the kitchen being one of the most important rooms, but it really depends too on who the client is and how they use the house. So if they have children and they want that to be the main focus of their life on a day-to-day basis, then it would be a different approach than if it was somebody, just a couple that maybe loved cooking. So then the kitchen does become the most important room. So it just varies depending on the clientele.
Amy.
I agree with the kitchen being the heart of the home. I also think that most people entering into some kind of design project need to figure out the big picture and how their lifestyle really works in the whole house. So instead of separating it into what space is difficult, it's how do you live? What do you want from your house? Are all my colors and styles compatible? How does it reflect me? So more than being about specific state spaces, it's about big picture.
Hey, Dawn.
In my experience, the room I think people need the most help with is usually the living room because it's multifunction. I want to look at the television. I want to, excuse me, entertain. I want to look at the fireplace. So we need to figure out how they're using that room and also how they can speak, talk to each other, watch television, do all these things. There's so many things they want to get done in that room. I have kids, I have grandkids. So I felt like that is one that we really need help with.
I have one other thing. I think expanding on the television, it's like that is such a focal point for so many people. And if there's perhaps a fireplace in the room and then they have the TV, do you want to destroy or do you want the TV to impact the fireplace, or do you want to put it off to the side so that you're looking all in one direction, but you might want to enhance the fireplace a little bit more than having the TV on top of it?
Great. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. The second question is, are open floor plans losing their relevance for today's home market and modern lifestyles?
I mean, I don't feel that they are. I
No?
still do a lot of open floor plans. I think for a lot of young families, it's still a very, you know, wonderful thing to have. And with big families, it's nice too, because you can kind of be in different rooms, but still feel like you're together. So I still do a lot of open floor plans. I don't really feel like they're losing their relevance. I mean, I feel like more so some of the formal floor plans are going away where people have that formal living room, dining room, like those rooms. I feel like I'm not seeing as much in new constructions because people want to use the whole house. They want to kind of plan the whole main floor. So to me, I think they're still very relevant.
Right. Amy?
I agree. If you know, you don't want to sequester your cook to a corner. Right? They can't be part of the activity.
Right.
So the open kitchen family area is still really popular. People do want private office space,
Yes.
private bedroom suites, you know, exercise room, all those secondary lifestyle rooms can be with doors or glass or whatever closed off, but the kitchen and hearth room are still so much a part of the way we live. So I agree with Jennifer.
You just made the comment about the hearth room. Could you
A
expand
lot of
on
people
that?
are calling that, you know, extension of the kitchen where there's upholstered seating, probably a fireplace. A lot of my clients have been calling it the hearth room. So it's kind of folksy, which is, you know,
Yeah.
in contrast to an open floor plan being more like a modern way to live. So it's actually, if we look at houses historically, it was all one room. So, yeah.
I think more and more people with working out of the home, and sometimes it's two people working out of the home. So I think that has to be taken into consideration as far as the open floor plan versus dividing some of the space.
Gotcha. Dawn?
So I've definitely seen, it depends on the people again, but the working at home, kids work, you know, when they're schooling at home, they're looking for a little more division. And it is trending back to not as open anymore, but I think the kitchen and hearth room or living room, people still like that.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to the living room. We have some questions that we're going to pose to them about that particular room. And so our first question is, what are the top pieces that a client should consider investing in to elevate or update the look of their living room?
I would say one of the things that, please speak up. Okay, one of the things that is that can really update a living room would be area rug. It's kind of like art on the floor, but it's just, if it's a nice area rug, it can be the one piece that can really make a difference in the way the whole room comes together.
So,
Go ahead.
I was confused by the word living room because we have great rooms, we have living rooms, we have family rooms, and now we have hearth rooms. So I guess rooms that we do our living in versus in an old school kind of way, rooms that you never went in that were very, formal. So I think people are getting away from that, save this room for the 3% of the time that we live in this house, and create rooms that are comfortable and easy to be in, easy to watch TV, enjoy a fire, have some friends over. That being said, upholstered pieces of quality that don't look like a mess after the family's been sitting on them are kind of key for me. Big area rugs. When you take a big room and squish it down with a small area rug, I think you're defeating the purpose of creating a luxurious space. So, and fireplace surrounds that are dramatic and beautiful to look at. Those are ways to upgrade.
Excellent. Jennifer.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both Dawn and Amy. I mean, the area rug is so important. The bigger the rug, the more you expand your space, the bigger your space feels. I know everybody feels like they're killing their hardwood floor and they're not seeing their wood floor. You can still enjoy all the wood flooring you have and designate your room with a big rug. And also the seating. I mean, there's so many times people don't use their rooms because they purchased something that they didn't like. It was uncomfortable. They don't like sitting on it. I mean, type bags, sectionals, I do all the time because kids love to just pop a seat on that back cushion. But when you do something that's more tailored, it just, it lives beautifully all the time and you can really enjoy your space and not feel like you have to do so much when you go into it. You can just enjoy your space. And that's what we all want. We want to enjoy our homes and not have to work so hard to, live in our spaces. We just want to come home and enjoy.
And when it's a very, very large room, you can sometimes use more than one area rug. You can do coordinates, and that kind of breaks up your conversational groupings and really adds a lot of interest to the room.
Yeah, you have the opportunity to kind of make it two spaces.
Okay, excellent. Dawn?
So I think these are large pieces we're all talking about. So your sofa is a large piece. You can tell if it's a quality piece or not. It also is about comfort. That's where I would invest in. Also window treatments. These are big things, big area rugs, sofas, window treatments. If it's drapery or blinds, those are big things. And then,
Or both.
yes. And then what Amy said, like the fireplace, anytime there's a focal point, if there's a focal point, focus on it because that's what people are looking at. So all of those things, I think, come together, these large pieces.
Yeah.
Maybe not a vase that, is a piece of glass. And if you look close, you can tell it was from Home Goods or I'm not cutting down vases. I have beautiful vases, but the big things you really need to focus on, my opinion.
Because it's about the layers and then you layer the small things in there for visual interest. But yeah, start with the big.
And even if it's just one big thing, I mean, just one really dynamic piece can really carry a room as well.
Excellent. Well, I have another question related to the living room. And it's talking a little bit about these large spaces you just mentioned, but the official question is, in rooms that are particularly large, irregularly shaped, or exceptionally small, how do you approach space planning? can you describe an example or two of your solutions?
I mean, I personally feel in spaces like that, that's where a lot of custom pieces come in.
Okay.
So if you have an odd shaped room or something that, you can't just put a standard size sofa or piece in, sometimes when something is tailor made to fit that space, it helps that space feel larger than it was to begin with. It kind of expands it. Doing custom pieces with oddly shaped rooms or smaller rooms, to me, is the biggest way to enhance and approach it, because it gives you more than, the average to work with.
Great. Don?
I think a small room is more difficult than a large room because every inch matters, like I can't do a rolled arm because I lost 2 inches, so, but you need to think about how it's going to work. So a small room, if you need it to be an office, you might have your console table behind your sofa and that's a desk. Plus we have a pull-out sofa, or we have, so you really need to think about how that room is being used. In a large room, again, how do you want to use it? A lot of times if I have a huge, great room, we will break it into pieces. Like here's the bar area and we have 4 chairs sitting around an ottoman where you can sit and have cocktails. And over here we have our living space, and, so it's really how you want to use it. But I definitely think that a smaller space for me is more difficult because everything matters. People, we might put a floor plan together and they'll say, well, I like this sofa. Okay, but it doesn't work. It doesn't fit. They want things and we can only make things work that work. So.
And sometimes in a small room, if it's very small, I sometimes do really dark walls and dark furniture so that the furniture blends into the wall, and it's like very cozy, and it's just like you're walking into just a really cozy, nice little room. So sometimes I just let the small room be a small room, but make it more dramatic.
Excellent. Amy?
Also, you have to consider how people are traveling in, out, and out of the space and through it. So furniture has to be laid out in such a way that you can maneuver yourself through a space. So considering doorways and window locations is really important when you're laying out small or big. And then the size of a room, the volume, the height of the ceilings, that really needs to play really well with the scale of the furniture, and measurements don't lie. If you see a tear sheet of a chair that's 28 inches, it's tiny. If you see a chair that's 42 inches, it's big. So you kind of have in your head have to know what those inches really mean when you're putting them on the floor in a room. So if you have a 10-foot ceiling and you're picking 2 28-inch chairs, that isn't going to necessarily work as well. So figuring out scale is really important.
Great. Well, we'll move to the kitchen now. We'd like to pose some questions to them about the kitchen. What are some simple ways to freshen up a kitchen?
Simple. I mean, it's such a big space that has a lot going into it. But sometimes I think just if you're looking for like a little freshening up, sometimes I think a little backsplash goes a long way. Just changing your backsplash. That could be, not the most messy way to change up the kitchen. You're not really going into construction, but you're adding a new layer in there. And if your cabinets are great and you just want to spruce up the countertop too, I mean, counters and backsplash. If you've just got a basic white kitchen or, something that you like the setup with, but you just kind of, like you said, freshen up. I think counters and backsplash are a good way to go.
I'll take it a step further and say, paint your cabinets.
Yeah.
Change your hardware, update the plumbing fixtures, pick one or pick them all, but those are all the things that are really gonna update a kitchen. Lighting.
I had a client who just moved into a home and had a lot to do, and she really couldn't afford to do much in her kitchen. And so all we basically did was change the cabinet hardware. We did new paint, new table and chairs that complemented the dark backsplash with black and added it had black countertops, and it was just really kind of a maple cabinet. It wasn't not anything too exciting, but she had a lot of African art and great accessories. So anyway, it ended up that we just did a few things, and it even made a difference in the way the whole thing came together.
Excellent. Don?
I agree with everything for sure. When I'm staging a house or helping someone get their house ready to sell, lighting, paint, hardware, simple. It doesn't have to be expensive if you're selling the house. But real easy.
Updated.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little goes a long way sometimes.
Mhm.
And I especially love hearing about lighting. That's one of my faves. So I love hearing about how that makes a difference. You know, that's awesome. Okay, well, our next question about kitchens then would be, what are some mistakes people make when following kitchen trends?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Amy?
I think, following the old outdated footprint of the kitchen that you're renovating, you need to consider a newer way for a layout. A lot of people say, but my sink's here. And I'll say, but it would be better over here. And then you get into a conversation about, but that means I have to move the plumbing. Yeah, it means you have to move the plumbing. So really being ready to invest in making smart changes. Just changing the look isn't gonna always make your end result an improvement. Visually, yes, but functionally, not really. Yeah.
Thank you. Don, go ahead.
I think anytime you're following a trend, you're not following yourself and how you use your kitchen. Also, if it's a trend, it's going to be dated. So if everyone's getting I'm going to say something that isn't trending so I don't offend anyone, the purple sparkly, countertop. I mean, I can walk into someone's house and I know when it was built by their countertop, so if you're following a trend, you're not following, how do I cook? Do I need a double oven? I don't need a double oven because I don't cook that much. So why would I take my space up with that? I would prefer to have 2 refrigerators than a big pantry because I have a lot of fresh food. So following a trend isn't going to serve me. Now, when you're selling your house, follow a trend because that's going to sell. But if you're living in it, and I would do what you love, what works for you.
I agree with Dawn. I mean, I typically am not a trendy person when it comes to design. I truly believe in timeless and classic. And, especially when you're working with a designer, everything should be custom tailored to you. So it should be what you need, what serves you, your life best. And, so I pretty much mostly agree with Dawn on the trends. I mean, Amy too, it's just, I don't really go with trendy most of the time because same thing, you walk in and
And things that start out as trends up here at the design center, top layer, products, you can see them start to show up at Home Depot and Lowe's, and then don't touch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that with so many people watching HGTV and all the design shows, it's a natural comfort level to just follow the trends of what they're showing so much of.
Right.
But really, you really need to take a look at how you like to live, what appeals to you. Your house should be a reflection of you, not of the trend.
Exactly.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to move to the bedroom now. So we have some questions for you on that. Our first one is, what screams dated in a bedroom?
I'll go.
Go ahead, Amy.
I got a list.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
He's jumping on this one. All right.
I would say mirrored bifold or bypass closet doors are something I've seen in a lot of homes that people have brought me to that want to redo spaces. Again, I'm going to talk about scale, poorly scaled furniture for the space. A treadmill in the bedroom never works. Matching bedroom sets, the old laminate ones that are all one piece. Fussy window treatments, pleated lampshades. So those are a few of the thoughts that I had about dated pieces in bedrooms.
Yeah, my biggest one would be the sets, I think. I would say the furniture sets. Nobody really does a ton of the, matchy sets anymore. It's typically, you find a pretty bed, you find gorgeous nightstands, you find, if you need a dresser, you need an armoire, whatever you need, you kind of find pieces that complement and work with each other so it feels and looks more custom instead of, anybody can walk in and into, a furniture store and say, okay, I'll take that off the floor. If you want a restoration hardware bedroom, that's great. But if you want something that feels more like yours and no one else has and truly custom, then, mixing pieces is the way to go.
Right.
Excellent.
So I do, like I mentioned, I do a lot of getting people's houses ready to sell. And the bed is such a huge piece, just like we talked about before with, sofas and large rugs. The bookcase beds, they're the bed really can set the tone. Even if you have old nightstands, changing that bed out to an upholstered bed or just something.
And bedding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can really, and the carpet, a carpeted bedroom with orange shag. I still see those things, so really those big pieces, the things we say make a statement, the same thing in the bedroom. Those big things, the window treatments. I was at a house yesterday where they built the house in the 90s. They're getting ready to sell it. Her mother was a designer and they were beautiful. And I'm like, wait, we need to take those, down. Are you sure? I am sure. The big balance with the flowers and so those are the big things that you see. The little things you can work with a lot of times, but those scream dated when you walk in, and it's not always hard to change those things.
And then I think, there's always that TV again, and the TV just sitting there floating on the wall with nothing around it. That just really has to be addressed too.
Not the most attractive.
Well, I have another question here about the bedroom, and I think we've talked a little bit about it, but if you want to take this opportunity maybe to expand, but the question is, what are some custom pieces that would really enhance the bedroom space? So maybe you could just tell us a little bit about those custom pieces you've created for clients. We'd love to hear about it. Jennifer?
In regards to the TV again, sometimes doing a custom built-in around the TV where it almost feels like a paneled wall or, a pretty armoire or something, but part of it opens in pockets and the TV is exposed. So when you walk in, it just looks like a beautiful bedroom. Again, you don't have that TV on the wall or, an eyesore like that. But I think a custom built-in or any kind of built-in with display shelf, something, so you can have your pretty things in there that really, to me, enhances the space a lot.
Excellent.
So I think sometimes it gets a little overwhelming in a master bedroom or any bedroom where you have to do custom bed treatments, which can sometimes get very pricey, as well as custom window treatments. Now, if you have a bed and you just want to do maybe custom shams that really can set the tone and be a pattern, and then you can add just some ready-made duvet covers or comforters, that sometimes you can get a little bit more of a custom look with just a little bit of custom work as opposed to completely custom.
Excellent. Thank you. Don?
Has anyone seen those framed TVs? They look like a piece of art.
Yeah.
And you don't see the wires all over. That is a great thing if you're going to watch a TV in bed or over a fireplace where it doesn't look, like these giant TVs. So that's something that I'm excited about now that they're getting more attainable as far as the price point also. But that really helps in the bedroom. A lot of people want to watch TV in bed. So
Yeah.
Right. And I do a lot of fully upholstered beds. So I feel like that really gives you a cocoon feeling in a bedroom. And mostly custom because all the variety of mattresses that there are in the world and having it done locally allows it to be just right. And if there's any tweaks or any problems that have to happen, your guy is right there. And also nightstands that are bigger, more generous. A lot of companies sell small little 30-inch nightstands that are very low. And so I'm always in search of the just right nightstand for the space, and it often has to become a custom piece. So,
I have one other, I think if you have like a family heirloom or some kind of great piece that you love and want to use it in an unexpected way, a master bedroom could be a way to have a very unique piece, and be able to utilize it in that space.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. All right, so we're going to move to the bathroom now. And the first question is, what are some easy changes you can make to update your bathroom?
same as the kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah, it basically is. But to me, it's even smaller. So I feel like for easy, you should just kind of go for it. Tear out the tile, do the new tile. If you want to keep the tub, keep the tub. But if it's a smaller bathroom and it's not a huge space, I would just say go for it and do the whole shebang. I mean, if it's a huge bathroom, and I understand, you know, it is more difficult, but it depends on what you have going on. If you don't have the glass doors and it's a beautiful bathroom, and you do the glass doors, sometimes just that
Okay.
can make it feel updated. So it really depends on,
Glass doors.
yeah, like the Euro, very clean glass doors.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
And building on that, if you have tile that is not that attractive and you don't want to actually have that be part of the focal point, you could do a custom shower curtain. Shower curtains aren't done that much anymore, but in an instance where you're trying to hide something you don't really want to focus on, it's not a bad idea.
Interesting.
I do a lot of shower drape.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So they come from the ceiling and come
too.
down
Mhm.
on a hidden track and elevates the space in a big way.
Don't have to
Yeah.
have just
So you
that
don't see the
bar.
rod and you don't see the space above it and then the rings.
Yep, I do
So
the
it's very
same.
neat and clean.
And you have
It
so
is
many hard surfaces in a bathroom, adding that fabric just softens it a little bit, and
Right.
gives it a little
Does.
warmth.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Right.
Done.
So, oh, sorry. So talking about easy again, definitely the shower curtain, but hardware is always easy, paint's easy, changing a faucet, you know, changing, you know, it's harder when it's a big tub with all the different faucets, but you know, a faucet on the sink. Another thing, if it's a powder room, you can do those one-piece vanities. You know, that's an easy thing to update. Adding trim, adding a new mirror. You know, a lot of times people have those big mirrors with clips on them. Adding a beautiful mirror. Those are really simple ways to update it without having renovation.
And lighting.
Oh,
Lighting around the mirror.
absolutely.
Always,
Yes.
yeah.
You know, also, if you just want to change the countertop in a powder room and you have this dynamic piece of stone, you can get remnants from some of the stone shops. And just having a really wonderful piece of stone on top of a vanity can make a huge difference in a room.
Excellent. Great.
Very true.
All right. One more question related to the bathroom. What are some things you recommend not doing on your own?
I am never a fan of spraying tile. I mean, I know some people think it's a quick fix, maybe even sell a home, but I can't. It just, every time I hear it, I see it, it just, to me, it doesn't wear well. It doesn't, if you're doing it to sell your home, I understand, but if it's something you're in it for the long haul, I highly don't recommend doing something like that.
Good.
Yeah.
Don?
Electrical and plumbing can ruin your house.
Yeah.
You can burn it down, you can flood it. So electrical and plumbing, I would not recommend you doing on your own. And the other thing is tile is not really a good, easy DIY thing. People see it all the time, the tile. You can have beautiful tile and a bad tile job and you ruined your bathroom. And it's not easy to change that later. You can have a basic tile that's done really well and it'll look nice. So those are things that I've seen people do their tile and it has drooped down and it just, they don't know how to finish the edges. I think that's something that you need to maybe put in your budget as a important thing to do in your bathroom or anywhere.
Amy?
I agree with everything you said. Those were what I had on my notes. Leave it to the pros, electrical, plumbing, tile. If you're moving things, you're gonna need them to do it anyway. But yeah, the end result really reflects who's done it. Yep,
Especially in a small space. I
Yeah.
mean, it really shows.
right.
We have a couple extra minutes in our timing. I'm gonna go off script just for a minute. For the bathroom, could you share with me and the audience, perhaps what are some favorite tile materials that you're seeing or you've used in a project that you'd like to tell us about? Whatever, I'll leave it open to that, Jennifer.
I love glass tile in bathrooms. I just think it's light, it's airy, it feels like the water. I think glass tile in a bathroom is just dreamy and beautiful, and it always turns out, and my clients are happy. I mean, that little bit of glass and you've got the water. I mean, I'm not saying do it on the flooring where it's dangerous, but on your walls and areas like that, to me, it enhances the space greatly just because the way water and glass play off of each other, especially when they mix. So
Oh, very symbolic.
They
Yeah.
have come out with very large format tile that looks like stone. It looks amazingly like stone. And to use that large format in a big shower area or along one whole wall can really make a dramatic impact on a bathroom.
Fantastic.
The reverse of that is mosaics, which I think give you a lot of texture and pattern, especially in a powder room or a small space or on the shower floor. So many different designs are available with mixed materials, like,
Yeah.
you know, the glass with the porcelain, just, yeah, a lot of different shapes. It's fun to work with that stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Don?
I do love the large scale porcelain, you know, the big slabs. You can see it if you walk around like at Circan Tile. They have huge pieces that look like stone. They don't have the upkeep. I like porcelain tile in general for a stone because of the upkeep on it. Also, I really like playing with the backsplashes. Instead of just doing a 4-inch backsplash, you can do a shape with your granite or quartz or something so you can have the plumbing coming out of the wall. So those are things that the materials I like to use that are available now that weren't available before.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for letting me go off script there for a moment. Okay, so we have a couple bonus questions that we'll pose to you because we're doing well on time here. What type of lighting or light fixtures do you direct your clients to invest in for their homes and why?
I typically like large scale lighting, something that looks, to me, lighting in general is the jewelry of the home. I mean, it's like putting on a beautiful gown and not leaving with, you know, any earrings or a necklace on. So anything I love a lot of the metals, the beautiful metals we have, like polished nickel, the antique brass. I like all metal fixtures. They're easier to clean. They're not so much maintenance. You don't have the shades that come apart. So to me, all metal with maybe a little touch of crystal depending on the area, but big dramatic, you know, all metal fixtures are kind of the direction most of my jobs go in. I really don't do a lot of the, you know, depending on the home, you do have the cascading crystal and all that, but more of the sculptural structured light fixtures make a dramatic effect in my opinion.
Excellent. Great. Amy, did you?
You know, that I agree with Jennifer's statement pieces over the dining room table, in the foyer, maybe over your kitchen island. But for general lighting, you need, you know, LED recessed cans or strips. And a lot of them are integrated into the ceiling or soffit details. There's low level stair illumination that's available for people who need light when they're going up and down the stairs. Backlighting behind mirrors and under cabinets is pretty popular. So a combination, you know, you need light above, you need it in the middle of the room, you need it shining up, lamp lighting, all of it.
Yes,
It's all
good to have
important.
options.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And
Yeah.
overlighting is okay as far as the general lighting because dimming it down is what you really need to do. So
Yeah.
always having dimmers on almost every light is
Yeah.
really important, I think.
Excellent. Don?
So, I love statement lighting, love lighting, and I know we all need general lighting, but a lot of my clients don't have any lamps. I go in and there's no lamps and they say, we don't need it. We have all these lights. Well, you can change the mood of the place. You can sit in a corner and have with a cup of coffee and read a book at night with a lamp. So I don't want them to forget about the lamps, and you were talking about different forms of lights. Also, I love art lighting. The light over, a piece of art just changes the mood of things. So having that variety of lighting, I only use my overhead lights when I'm cleaning the house pretty much. It's like I need to be able to see, but lamps just make things so cozy. And those art lights, and they're not that expensive anymore either. They're everywhere. There's so many different kinds, even the cordless kinds with the plug-in bulbs where you have this just mood light. Like, look at these lights over here, how pretty they are, just the mood light.
Agree.
I think especially in Michigan with the amount of dreary days that we have, it's really important to have good general lighting.
Definitely. Excellent. Great. Thank you. All right. So the last of our bonus questions here, when selecting finished materials, cabinetry, and furnishings for a client, how important is the psychology of color?
I think it's very important. I mean, it should, to me, I always tell everybody my kind of approach is at the end of the day, I just want to be proud of the home and I want it to feel like you. I want it to feel like your home. I want you to enjoy it and I just want to be proud of it. So it should be a reflection of you. If you can't stand yellow and it makes you feel a certain way, or if you really love blues and you're on the lake and you want, the feeling of the water to be inside and out. So it does create a lot of, feeling and emotion depending on what direction you go in. And if you really find certain tones soothing, I mean, I have certain clients that want all white bathrooms. To them, it feels so clean, so perfect, so pristine, and they want every bathroom white. Great. If that's how you feel and it feels good, let's do a beautiful white bathroom. But I mean, I think it's very, very important.
Do you generally ask your clients directly what colors, or do you tend to interpret and take some risks and take them down paths they might not have thought of on their own?
I always ask because I never want to offend anybody. If I come in with a blue presentation and someone's like, I can't stand blue this one time. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe we should schedule another meeting, different day. So I always ask because you want to try to get it as close to right on the first try as possible. But, maybe I'll add things to it that they weren't thinking to kind of help, enhance that orange or, make that other color pop. So I might bring other things into play that they weren't considering to make it more exciting.
Excellent.
I always ask what color you don't like.
Yes.
So
Great.
that I know we're staying away from those and I can focus on the others.
Excellent.
A lot of people have associations with, I grew up in a bedroom that was that color, or my grandmother's house was that color. I don't want it. So you have to respect that because everybody comes to you with their history and that will impact a lot of their decision making. As a designer, I try to get them to stretch and open up a little bit, but everyone's got their limitations and I respect what they are in the long run.
Don?
So I think that the psychology of color is so important. If you ask a child, how do you want to decorate your room? They're always going to say, I want it pink. I want it blue. It's just the color. That's the first thing they think about. I want purple. That's their first thing that they think about. So people do know what they like and don't like. It also impacts like the dark colors. It's a cozy, moody space, right? It impacts your light. It's absorbing the color, so if you don't want a dark space, you probably shouldn't paint it black if you don't have a lot of windows. It also can determine how warm you feel. So a red color, actually makes you feel warmer. It makes your conversations, more lively, and it makes you more hungry. So more hungry. Red. I mean, there are things that, yes. You're more hungry when you're in a red room. So maybe the restaurant should be red. So it's really, it's important. It's not just, and it also can make you said anxious, or more creative. But there's other things like in a lawyer's, law office and like, let's not do red. We don't need any more conversation going on. Let's do some soothing things. So, or people want all gray, but it's gray outside in Michigan and makes you feel colder. Are you sure you want to do this? Just even if they like it, I talk to them about the color and what it might make them feel. So
Wow. Excellent. Sherry?
And sometimes it's dictated by what is in the rest of the house. So you need a flow throughout the house. So it might be that they have predominantly orange in the house. Well, the kitchen could be mostly white with just an accent of orange. So, it just, that has an impact on it as well.
Right.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so that covers the questions that we had for them. And now we're going to move to what we call the lightning round. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to call off a example of an object or color or something that might be used in an interior. And the designers are going to let us know how they feel about that by holding up a paddle and sharing with us their immediate response to this word that I'm going to give her, this phrase or situation. So the first situation would be leopard print for a living room. Our next situation would be would be wood ceilings. Okay. Next, we have high gloss white interior doors. High gloss white interior doors.
I don't know.
I'm indifferent. I just love it.
What did you say?
I said dislike.
Okay.
I don't know about the doors. Maybe the trim. I don't know about.
Okay, now this one I'm curious on this one. Black plumbing fixtures in a bathroom.
I'm like Beyonce with this one.
Kohler's gonna have to sell you on their new lines there, Jennifer.
That's a crazy
Crazy.
love. I love black
You're a
fixtures
smooth
and plumbing
person.
fixtures. Yeah, I feel cool.
Wallpaper for a bedroom.
Oh, I think it adds so much. I do it a lot.
Let me see those. I got crazy in love.
I got the
right.
Beyonce one. I love it.
Excellent. I feel the same.
Uh-oh.
Okay, mirrors in a hallway. Mirrors in a hallway. So I brought up the mirrors, Amy. We'll see how you feel about. Yuck! I knew that was coming. Gray walls for a dining room.
Dining.
Gray walls for a
Okay.
dining room.
I think it'd be more
It depends
fun.
on the situation. But, yeah. All right. Upholstered dining chairs.
Oh, I love. I
Oh,
never wanna
wow.
leave.
1,000 times. Oh, wow. Okay. Brushed brass lighting fixtures. Brushed brass lighting fixtures. Okay. All right. Cellular shades.
What are those?
The honeycomb. The honeycomb.
The cell. Yeah. Yup.
Right away.
Okay. Good. Okay. Now this one I'm interested too. Vertical blinds.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God.
Evoke some responses. Upholstered headboard. So I think we
Oh.
know what your answer will be
Yeah,
in love.
love.
Yes. Okay, here we go. And it's funny you brought this one up, Sherry. Orange walls.
I don't like when colors.
Okay.
Too strong.
Our next one is blue area rugs.
Like all blue.
Blue area rugs. Now, I know I'm not giving you a room context, but blue area rugs.
I like it.
Maybe.
Maybe? Okay.
Yeah, I know. I
Let's go like this. If you go like this, it's maybe.
Amy votes maybe. All right. So when we've got red velvet.
Oh, it can be so yummy depending on where it goes.
Where is it?
How about a red velvet upholstered headboard for a bed?
I don't think so.
Red velvet upholstered headboard for a bed. Okay.
No, I would never.
Not going to give that calm feeling. Is it?
Mm,
Yeah, right.
no.
All right. Keelam rugs. Keelam rugs.
They're not bad.
I don't use them, but I don't hate them.
Me neither. I never use
Keelam
them.
is a type of weave. You guys want to?
Usually.
They're not a like your kind of carpet that you have your yarns that are stitched into a backing, where the keelam is woven in itself. We'll have to You have to stop at Hagopian on the
Like
way.
it's
There's
just
some
some
samples.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah, in certain areas they work. You know, you need them in certain areas, but they're not our go-to for every.
It's, if you guys want to look it up after we go today, it's Kilim. I know you're like, if you're like me, I'm gonna Google it. But Kilim, but I'm sure the ladies would be available to talk with you further about it. Okay, our next one is ceiling fans.
Well,
It's a hard one.
They've gotten better. I still don't like them, but some people need
Yeah,
them.
they do.
And some of them are not that bad. Yeah, I'm with Amy.
Okay.
For the Amy.
Maybe.
Dependent on the fan.
Okay.
Alternative, new AC unit.
You know,
Yeah.
some people just need a ceiling fan. I mean,
They do.
like,
You
you
do
can't
need
say
it.
you can't have a ceiling fan. If that's the best way you can sleep, sleeping's hard enough, for God's sake.
Yeah,
So,
in bedrooms it's
you know.
fine. I just typically don't like them in your general areas, like your great room, you know, kitchen. But in bedrooms, a lot of people love sleeping with a fan. Some people have to have a fan when they sleep. And if that's the case, there are attractive ones out there now, thank God,
yeah,
that we can use and still make the space beautiful and functional, because that's what good design truly is. It's not just beautiful, it has to be functional too. So
I mean, I still get a lot of people that want fans
Oh, me too.
everywhere,
Me
you know,
me too.
and it's their home.
That's true.
So I think it depends again on, you know, there are people, I have to have a fan in my room. Yesterday I was at a home and we were switching out their old ceiling fan that had brass and white that was very dated. But we changed that one. It was a high room because you want the air to come down, right? They wanted that, but they also had one over their kitchen table. So that one we switched out into a chandelier. So even though they had a high ceiling, so it depends on where it is and how
Exactly.
comfortable you are and if it works. I always would rather have a chandelier. I'm working on my own condo with my sister. We bought one together on Marco Island. And I said, we have to have a chandelier in the living room. That's the only thing we've disagreed about, is that no fan in there. I do not, you know, because it makes the space feel cozy, and it's not a high ceiling. It wasn't really, you know, they're in the bedrooms. It's hot there, right? But, you know, so it depends.
Well, that one caused a lot of conversation. That's awesome. Okay, so our last one is wall murals. Our last one for your paddles is wall murals.
I don't. I think artwork is, you know, just why not just do artwork? You can move it. It can come with you. It's an investment. If you're going to do something big and dramatic, I would do artwork. You can do a series. You can do a grouping. If you have a big wall to fill, to me, artwork is the way to go.
Awesome. All right. Anybody else want to talk
Need
about
my
that?
it depends on the space. It really does. Some of the wall murals are more ethereal looking
Yeah.
and more abstract, and they're just bigger panels, bigger scale wallpaper.
Yeah, that to me is beautiful.
And that I like. I've
Yes,
even
me
seen
too.
people use like 3 of them and frame it
Yes.
as a giant piece of artwork,
Yeah.
which I've never
Yeah.
done, but it's a good idea.
I did it with the Christian Lacroix wallpaper because it's so crazy and it's such a statement. We actually did a big piece that, you know, we leaned it against the wall and it was all done in the Christian Lacroix. We framed it. So she
Mhm.
loved the wallpaper, but it was
Right.
too crazy for the whole room. And it felt like artwork at the
Yeah.
time. So yeah,
Yeah.
Wonderful.
yeah.
I think murals, they used to be very dated. They've come with, it's a brand new look now,
Yeah.
and you can get some very stunning.
Yeah.
I just think of my dentist's office when I think of murals and
like the 70s super
Yeah,
graphic,
yeah.
but those are even back in style.
that's not.
That's not in your room.
It's a trend.
So one thing with murals is it's a huge statement. And it's a lot less expensive than a huge piece of art, and you can change it later. You know, it's the wallpapers and the murals are easy to remove now. It's not like it used to be. So I really like doing it in a bedroom, behind a bed, behind a sofa in the right room. So it's not just on its own. I like it in a layer.
Mhm.
Excellent. Well, thank you. That takes us to the end of our lightning round. In just a couple moments, we'll start out with some questions. We're good on time right now, so I thought maybe I'd go off script again here and just take a moment to give you the opportunity about something you'd like to share with the audience that you really didn't get to talk about today. So I'll just start with at the end and work my way towards me. But Jennifer, anything you else wanted to talk about today?
And I was thinking about the small spaces when you said,
Yeah.
have you, you know, any you've recently done, and I did do one for a client, actually, in one of their second homes in Fort Myer. They have a space that is kind of an office, but kind of a sitting room, and it's got an odd shape to it, and it's got a weird recessed portion of it. So what I did was, and they have a lot of guests in this home. They entertain in this home a lot. This is where a lot of their family comes to visit and everything. So we did a beautiful custom Murphy bed in the recessed area, which just looks like two beautiful doors, and it has some cubby shelving on the right and left so they can display some of their things. But instead of it opening, obviously the whole thing comes down and there's a bed inside. And then I did a custom 70-inch wide sofa on the adjacent wall, which is a sofa sleeper. So even though it's a small room, the room houses two queen size beds, and you'd never think walking into it. You think you're just walking into a cozy space with a sofa and a TV and an armoire. But really, you know, 3 to 4 people can sleep in that room if they wanted to, depending on the family they had, which is a great use of space for them. So they're really happy that they have a room they can use when it's just them, but also accommodate their family when they come to visit, and everybody has a place.
Excellent. Excellent. Sherry, I'll take you, David.
Well, one of your questions was, you know, how do you work with people, and how is the room impacted by your decisions with the homeowner that you're working with?
Yeah.
I think it all depends on, you know, a lot of times there's more than one person that you're dealing with. And so it's sometimes difficult to blend both of their ideas together. And I think that's one of the places where a designer really is helpful, is when you have two different viewpoints coming in and you have to come up with one solution. So I think that's one of the big benefits of having a designer, as well as if they have certain, like I had a client who had a collection of, they were big hunters, and they had like all this hunting artwork and heads and things like that. Now they had to go in the house, you know, and so that would be a really difficult thing to place. So I think professional help with trying to spread that around and making it look like it's supposed to be there is a real skill.
Yeah.
Amy?
My mom always used to tell me that it was good that I had a psychology degree in addition
Yeah.
to a design degree, because there's just so much about dealing with people and personalities and marriages and partnerships and children in the house. And a lot of people get sidetracked by the what ifs. You know, what if my so-and-so comes and where are they going to stay? And I always like to bring people back to your house the 95% of the time. You should design for you, your family, not that a guest that might arrive for 3 days.
Yeah.
So
Would you mind putting up that loving this paddle? I love that. That's awesome.
Okay, that was wonderful. Thank you, designers. You guys did a fabulous job. And thank you, Michelle, our moderator. If you or anyone you know is interested in the interior design field, Michelle leads a wonderful program at OCC, so I strongly recommend looking into that. And lastly, feel free to walk around the building and check out our beautiful showrooms and our cafe. Thank you.